Today's Daily Move is in collaboration with Joe Picorale and Hailey Boswell. Joe is the owner at Be Love Studio here in Pearl District. Hailey manages the studios, and so they are really, really good at yoga, obviously. Today we're going to talk about Acroyoga specifically. It's something that I think is really cool. Anytime I'm on Instagram, that will stop me in my tracks every single time when you guys post that. And with an athletic background, I feel like I'm usually pretty good at movement, but this is something that intimidates me. So I wanted to get some teachers to see, how are you guys going to start beginners? Where would we start?
Cool. The pose that we often start with is bird pose. It's like you think of Superman on your parents' feet. So most people are kind of familiar with the idea. And in yoga, the flyer, who's the person on top, would be doing a plank pose.
Okay.
Or a push-up shape.
Let's have you fly.
All right.
You ready?
Yeah. And I know these guys have been doing acro for 5 years.
5 years, 6 years, yeah.
This is day one for me, so bear with me, and they're going to teach you how they would teach a beginner.
So as a base, I'm just simply laying down, pretty simple. And then you as the flyer, I want you to come really close. So close enough that I can touch your toes, yep. And then I'm gonna take my feet like train tracks right onto your hips. And so a nice little test for you is you wanna stay straight. So a lot of times, if we put our hands out, we're not gonna connect right now. So, yep. So you wanna stay straight in your spine, don't bend at your hips, and we're not gonna even touch. So we'll just do a little tester, just to, a lot of acro is trust. And so I'm just gonna give you a little bend down and then up, and then your goal is to keep that straight line in your body.
Okay.
So we're just gonna go down, and you give me a little bit of your weight, yep, up, good. Good, that's a good test. And then we'll just go down, and then I'll scoop you up.
And so what I'm doing back here behind them is spotting. If you're new to acro, it's always a good idea to have a spotter close by, just in case something does happen or you start to fall toward the ground.
Go ahead and straighten your arms. Think of lifting your chest and look forward. And then if you start to feel light in your hands, you can bring your arms beside you. So in yoga, it'd be like a cobra pose. You're lifting your chest, which is gonna kind of pull the weight up and back and get you a little lighter in the front of your body. And you're doing a little bit of work, yeah? Mm-hmm. And when you're ready to come back, we just go to hands, and then we can gently come back to the earth.
Awesome.
Congratulations on your first flight.
There we go. Scary, but yeah, you're very trustworthy.
Thanks.
It's got big feet.
I have big feet.
Yeah, I don't feel like I'm going anywhere, so that's good.
Yeah.
So you want to try another pose?
Sure.
Yeah. So we'll do the same thing. Come nice and close. We'll go right back into bird pose. Good, good fall. And then from here right now, we currently have 4 points of contact, right? So we got 2 hands, 2 feet. So we're gonna practice removing a point of contact first. So you're gonna have to work a little bit more to hold your shape, and I'm gonna just remove my foot. So I'm just gonna say I'm gonna remove this foot. Good. Yeah. And then let's just, for the sake of practice, try the other side. Nice. So we're gonna do the same thing. This time I'm gonna remove my foot and think of a dog peeing on a fire hydrant. You're gonna bring your knee up and into your armpit, and you're gonna really lift it high. Good, and I'm gonna step on the inseam, and you wrap your foot around the front of my shin.
Yep.
Yep.
Forward.
You got it, you got it.
You got it.
A little bit more. Yep, and then lift your back leg. That's gonna help you get up.
You got it.
Yes, yes.
And see if you can
And
wrap your
straddle
foot
a
all
little
the way
more.
around.
This way?
And then hook.
Yeah,
Yep.
knees
And let your
outward.
legs separate.
Yes.
And let your butt sink, and let your legs separate a little bit more. There's a little bit of trust involved, huh? Good, so this is called straddle throw. And then we'll come out the same way. So we'll go connect hands again, one leg at a time, send it straight back to that plank shape. And then let the weight settle into that hip. Nice.
Awesome.
Good job.
Watching her do this earlier, I was like, okay, this is impossible. You're not even gonna do that. That was really comfortable and felt really cool. So
Yeah, that's one of the fun things about acro. It's like yoga, it takes like a lot of time to get to these like poses where you like break through. With acro, it's like every time you have these like, no way, oh wow, I did that, no way, oh wow, I did that, like a lot.
That's awesome. And I think the teacher's really important because watching this or watching you, I was like, never.
Yeah.
But that was way easier than I thought it would be with you guys telling me what to do. So.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool.
Cool. You want to try the back bend?
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to do a back bend? Okay.
Yep.
So you're going to do the same thing. Turn around.
Okay.
Get nice and close. And this time, grab my ankles for support with your thumbs on the inside. So you're going to rotate your wrists the other way.
Here, like
So
a
think
C?
of your wrists going, yep.
This way?
And that's just going to be a little safer for your elbows. And then start from the top down, just slowly back bend. And just keep holding on,
Relax as much
because this can be intense on your back. So if it's too much, just keep holding. If you feel okay, you can start to relax a little more.
Good, and then relax your legs. Yeah, let your knees bend.
Yeah.
Nice.
Is that okay?
It is. As a high jumper, this is a good position for
Oh
me.
yeah, it's like you're going right over the top. So this one's a really big opener. This one's nice just to go slowly with. And then we could do the dancer pose if you want to that she did with one leg up. You want to try that? So before you go up, bring your left foot, grab your left ankle. And then this hand's gonna go between my legs. So I'm gonna give you a little guidance. And then you're gonna grab that same ankle, both of your own
Yeah,
ankle,
there
yep.
you
And
go.
then you can send that right leg straight up. So this
There
is
you go.
basically dancer pose upside down.
Beautiful.
Nice. And then you can grab my ankles and we'll just slowly come back to earth. You're awesome. One more. We gotta do it's called candlestick.
Okay.
So this is another nice inversion which takes you, a lot of acroyoga is upside down for the flyer. So this is like a really simple way to get upside down without the support of my feet. You're gonna kind of support yourself a little bit more. So you're gonna straddle me. One thing about yoga, acroyoga too, is you're really close to people.
Yeah.
So the touch and the communication is really important, and it's a big part of acro. So you're gonna go between your legs and put your hands on my thighs. And then you're gonna have to dunk your weight a little more into my hands by stepping up onto my knees. So that's a little bit of an awkward transition, and you gotta really just put your weight into my hands.
You got it.
Good. Yep, and then start to lift your butt up, and you'll notice as your butt goes up, you might start to feel lighter in your feet, and you can maybe take one leg up at a time and start to balance into your shoulders.
You can go legs straight up, or you can go knees to your chest, whatever feels good.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
Solid.
Beautiful.
Nice.
You can go legs straight up, you can take them out wide, you can make pretty shapes with them, whatever you feel like doing. Yeah, to come down, you can go straight to the knees or to the floor.
That was great.
That was awesome.
Nice, good job.
I did not think that was going to happen.
That's
Very
good.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the poses that you would do in a beginner class, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And what about me being bass?
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
So we'll switch.
So it's
would
nice.
would you do that in a class? Would you do both, or would you pick one and do that? How would that?
It depends.
work?
It's nice. I think it's nice to feel both at ends of the spectrum because a lot of times, especially couples, will start to bicker a little bit, and it's like, hey, like try what I'm doing, and then they're like, oh wow, that's actually really hard, and I understand why you're struggling. So it's good for clarity and understanding to do both roles, but like. I mostly bass because I'm so large. Hailey mostly flies, but we do switch, and sometimes she does fly me, and so it's
Yeah.
nice to do both a little bit. But a lot of times people will settle into a certain role.
Yeah, I think for me as a flyer, it makes me a better flyer to base to get a feeling of what's happening underneath me, and then I can learn to kind of shift my body around and move.
I know this
according
shift will do
to-
this on the foot, or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Awesome.
So basing sometimes is a different experience. So we'll see.
We'll see.
Okay, so you're just gonna bend your knees in close, and I'm gonna walk nice and close to you.
Okay.
And then your feet will come to my hips. So we'll just take the soles of your feet, yep. And as a flyer, I kind of like to place them where I feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And then that same thing that Joe did to you. So you're basically doing a squat. You're just bending
And
your
then flyer
knees in.
fingers are forward, but bass's fingers are out.
Yep.
And you guys won't interlace fingers. You're just gonna kind of be support for her.
And then from here, you will drive up
Press
through
up
your
there.
heels. Yep. And then legs up. Nice. The stacking, you want to talk about stacking, Joe?
So another really important thing is bone stacking is important. So you're a little bit forward. So if you think of sending your ankles back a little bit, if you're able to straighten your legs, go ahead and straighten. If not, that's okay too. But finding this stack's really important. If you go too far back, it's going to really work a lot in your hip flexor and your abs, and it's going to be a lot of work. If you go too far over, it's going to be a lot of work in your glutes and your lower back. So trying to find that stack, it's pretty minimal work when you find it.
Cool. So let's come down, and then we'll come back up in a second. So yeah, to come down, you just kind of like bend and set right back down.
Yes.
Cool.
How do you feel trust-wise?
That's good.
Good.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll try that second one. So same thing, your feet come to my hips. I'm gonna actually take your feet just a tiny bit lower this time.
Okay.
Yeah. And then same thing, so squat in and then drive up through your heels, and then I'm just lifting. Good.
So bring your legs back just a little bit. Think of your tailbone staying down. Yeah, that looks better.
Okay. And then we'll try to take 1 foot away, let's say this foot on this side. So whenever you shift, nice.
Good.
And then you can put it back. And then we can try the other foot.
Nice.
Nice. So let's try to go all the way for that straddle throne. So take this foot away, and then I'm gonna pull this knee in.
Think of putting your toes on her inseam. I got you guys. You got it. Toes will go right to the inseam where that, and then she's gonna wrap around the front. You'll notice it kind of lays into your foot. And the same thing, point your toes on that inseam. And then you can bend a little bit if it's okay. Bend your knees so she can sit up. And then you can straighten once she's up.
And so the spotter is really, really good because we started to kind of fall to the side, and then Joe just pushed us right back to center, and we didn't have to come down and start over.
Yeah, spotter's here for safety, but also it's really nice for alignment and just a small passes back into the pose.
Good, so then you squat back down, and then I'll unwrap 1 foot at a time. And try to go right back to that bird shape. So to my hip, and then same thing.
Nice.
Good, to the other hip.
Good.
And then we can come down.
Yeah, and that was huge because a lot of those, as a beginner, I don't necessarily know exactly where to put my foot or what position I need to be in. So him being there and just that little subtle guidance was really helpful.
And the magic word in acro is again. If you mess up, just do it again and again and again.
Cool. Let's.
You want to try another one? Sure.
You're gonna base all of them? Okay.
Yeah, let's do the candlestick.
Or whatever you guys
Or the
want.
back bend,
We'll go back bend first and then candlestick last.
Okay.
Sweet. So you'll
So
take.
I'm so tall, I'm just gonna say I'm so tall, I'm coming down to my knees to spot. That's not normal.
And then your feet are gonna go about just, right there probably, or maybe a little bit higher. So it's kind of like on your butt, but also on your low back, just a spot where you feel supported to back bend. And then I'm C-gripping, grabbing ankles with thumbs in. And then you're just gonna, again, just like bird pose, squat me in.
You can grab your elbows
You can grab
for
my,
support.
grab my elbows. And then use that connection to drive up through your heels. Perfect.
And then here it's kind of at your discrepancy. If you want to stay at her elbows, you could also go to her shoulders. Or if you feel like she's balanced, you could also just let her hang on your feet. But it's kind of up to how it feels for you guys.
Yeah, it feels pretty good.
You want to try dancer?
Sure.
And then from dancer, it does shift the weight a little bit, so you might be ready to be at her shoulders because it's going to take the weight up a little bit more and over. Nice.
What do you think is harder, acing or flying?
I don't know, they're just different, you know?
They're very different. Cool. And then we can come all the way back down. Just feet down and up.
Good. Yep. And that one for the flyer, especially, sometimes being upside down in a big back bend, it's takes a second to take a breath because you might be dizzy.
Yeah, I think this, I can tell more just stabilizing the whole time. I'm tired, but the flying was a lot more like figuring out what I'm doing as I'm moving. So it's they're both hard but different. But both cool.
Candlestick.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay.
So I stand over this way, and then my hands are going through my legs, grabbing your thighs.
And you're gonna grab her shoulders and you're gonna go a little further back than where you first land because as she goes up, the weight's gonna shift further up, and so you don't wanna overextend your wrist. So think of, you're gonna be on the meaty part. Your fingers will kind of be light, and then also you've already got your thumbs. You don't wanna wrap your thumbs around her neck because that could be dangerous for your thumbs if she falls, and it also could potentially choke her. So that's a good spot there.
Cool.
And you'll feel as she goes up, more weight will go into your hands. And you're gonna keep your arms really straight. Yep, good. And Hailey knows what she's doing, but a lot of times the new flyers, their hands feel like they're coming off. So as a base, you can give her a little bit of pressure towards your legs to keep her locked in. But you guys look good.
It feels more stable for me too.
Yeah,
that's good.
Feels really good. And then as a flyer, I can come down either to your knees, or I like to kind of, you can come here, or I like to test my core strength and just lower as slow as I can to the floor.
Awesome.
Just a fun little thing you can add in.
Cool.
Yeah, nice job.
Yeah,
You're solid.
Yeah, that was super fun. like I said, for me, this is day one, so I had no idea what I'm doing, and they were really, really good, especially with the gentle cues. I think a lot of times we get scared that you're going to come to a class and someone's like, okay, lay down and let me just push you in where you need to be, and it was not that. They were all really gentle and subtle and really comfortable. So I don't know if you guys do private classes or
We do
classes
offer
both.
Okay. We do offer privates.
If somebody wants to take one or learn more from you or saw the video and thought, wow, that looks really cool and I want to try it, where do we find you at?
We're always at Be Love Yoga Studio, beloveyogastudio@gmail.com.
Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, it's all Be Love Yoga Studio. Just hit us up.
We do beginners acro classes every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. here at this location in the Pearl District. And then if you're more interested in doing something privately, like with a partner or a friend, we do private sessions here at the studio, or we could even come to your home as well.
Cool. So yeah, it's a different way to move. If you guys are bored with your workouts or anything like that, and not only the exercise, I mean, I can tell I definitely use some muscles, but like they said, touch is really important in this. So husbands, wives, if you guys want something to kind of spice up date night, this was really fun, and yeah, it's really intimate as well as getting in a good workout at the same time. So really, really cool. Thank you guys again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And we'll see you guys soon.